Although there are many popular cities to look at when relocating to Silicon Valley, there are two that come up time and time again. Today we are going to be talking about Morgan Hill and San Jose, what the differences are, and why you should consider both. Some of the differences are huge, some of them are small, but you have to stick around to the end of this video to see what the most important difference is about these two cities. Now let's dive right in. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the actual size of both of these cities. San Jose is definitely a much larger city, coming in at 180 square miles large, whereas Morgan Hill is teeny tiny compared to this at 13 square miles big. What I find is a lot of people start their search in San Jose and eventually end up in Morgan Hill. We'll talk about prices a little bit more in detail, but the primary reason is Morgan Hill, you get a little bit more for your money, whereas San Jose, you might get a smaller lot size, a slightly smaller home, and a more densely populated neighborhood. Now, on the subject of population, let's talk a little bit more about the actual amount of people that are in each of these areas. San Jose just broke the million mark recently at over 1 million people now in the city metro, whereas Morgan Hill is roughly 45,000 people. Sticking with some data here, the median household income in San Jose is at $117,000, whereas Morgan Hill, we're seeing $128,000 as the median household income. As far as who's buying and who's renting, in San Jose, 57% of the population owns, whereas 43% rents, whereas Morgan Hill, 73% of the population owns, whereas 27% rents. Nowadays, with how things have changed, Morgan Hill and San Jose are pretty comparable as far as average home price. San Jose, we're still seeing an average home price of $1.37 million, whereas Morgan Hill, we're seeing $1.32 million. Because of the proximity to San Jose, Morgan Hill has definitely grown in popularity, so we are seeing those prices, although they've settled recently, continue to rise compared to what they were 5 to 10 years ago. Now let's talk about the true distance between San Jose and Morgan Hill. If you would drive from the northernmost point of Morgan Hill to the southernmost point of San Jose, you're really only looking at about a 13-minute drive in no traffic. Now, San Jose, again, is relatively large, so if you're going further into San Jose, downtown to the airport, that direction, you're going to be driving typically about 30 to 40 minutes. Now, there is a lot of traffic between these two cities and the further north you go. So if you are driving during commute hours, anticipate this drive being 15 to 20 minutes longer. As far as weather goes, there's definitely microclimates in Silicon Valley, and San Jose and Morgan Hill are no exception. Morgan Hill, you will tend to find 5 to 10 degrees warmer compared to San Jose in the summer. You also will start seeing marine layer come in during certain parts of the summer and early fall because of the proximity to the coast. If you would just go over the hillside in Morgan Hill, you'll hit the Santa Cruz coastal area of Highway 1. So we get, because of being a valley, we get a little bit of that fog bank, which is a nice little natural air conditioning. San Jose gets far less fog and far less of the peak temperatures compared to Morgan Hill. Another important topic is public transportation. Now, San Jose is a large city, so it's going to have more public transit, especially in the downtown community area. You have tons of options between light rail, the bus system, the trains, and of course, Uber and taxis. Whereas Morgan Hill, you have to expect it's going to take a little longer to get an Uber. The train system does run through the town. However, they only pick up and drop off in Morgan Hill proper during commute hours, so you'll get a few set times in the morning and a few set times in the evening. Same goes for tech buses. If you're looking to take that method, they are going to be serving during the peak commute times. One definite perk, if you are looking for alternative transportation, Morgan Hill itself is a very bikeable community. So because of the smaller size, you're able to get around town without necessarily having a car or public transportation in the motorized sense. You can easily walk and bike most places in the community. Now, because Morgan Hill is only 13 square miles, you also get that small town feel. This is definitely a good and a bad problem. The good is that you have that tight-knit community. Everyone knows everyone, and everyone will lend a hand if needed. But the downfall is definitely that restaurants close earlier because of it being a small town, because we don't have the population and the drive to keep businesses open later in the evening. Some may consider that a negative. San Jose, you'll find many micro communities within the larger city. You have different areas that you call different things. You have Almaden, you have Willow Glen, you have downtown San Jose, you have Evergreen. They all serve as kind of independent communities, although they are part of a much larger metro city. Before we jump into the last few points, I wanted to make mention of my channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you want to see more local information just like this. And if you have questions, make sure to comment below. Now let's dive into what some may consider one of the most important considerations when they are moving to a new area, and that is schools. We're going to cover education from the beginning to the very end, so make sure you stick all the way to the end of this video to hear about further education as well. In San Jose for the 22-23 school year, there are 92 private school options in the city. These private schools serve over 27,000 children. As far as public school, there are 228 schools, and these serve over 146,000 children. As far as higher learning is concerned, there's one public university, which is San Jose State University. In addition to the university, there's 11 other institutions as well, varying from community colleges all the way to small private schools as well. In Morgan Hill, there are 8 private schools for the 22-23 school year, serving just over 1,500 students. There are 11 public schools which are serving over 7,200 students. And of course, as far as the colleges go, it is a smaller city, so there are colleges in proximity to Morgan Hill that are very easy to access. However, we do not have any private or public universities or colleges in Morgan Hill proper. Well, that's all I have today for the Morgan Hill versus San Jose battle. If you are curious about this area even more, or other areas in California, make sure you contact my team at the info below. If you want to see more info just like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.